Hello, this is the second episode in Python series. So in this video, we'll talk about control statement and specifically about if statement. We'll talk about if statement, if else statement, and nested if. We'll start this by taking an example and imagine that we have three numbers, x, y, and z, okay, and we want to find the maximum number. So let's start with an easier one. Let's start with just two numbers for now, x and y, and find which one is bigger than the other. So let's do this. Are you ready? Okay. So first of all, let's define a variable which is x, and we'll accept input, and let's say that the input is of type integer, so we'll be using the command input to accept input from the user, enter the value of x, okay, and here we have the message to be displayed to the user, and this is through the command input to accept input, and then the input will be casted and converted to integer. As you know, the input is returning just a string, so that's why we need to cast it to an integer. So this is the first number, and the second number will be the same. Here we are declaring a variable, and we'll do the same thing. We'll accept input, and here we will say please enter the value of y. Okay, so those are the two things. I will run it, and here we will accept input 5, and this is the 7. That's all. So it's a good practice to test the program as you go before you move to the next step. And now we will be using the if statement to compare and check. So if statement is a keyword, if is a keyword in Python, and here we have the first variable, and here we will say if x is greater than y. If yes, then colon. Here we need a colon. This is part of the if statement, and here is the result or what we want to do. So we will do just printing the biggest number, which in this case will be x. So that's why the is, and here we can print the number, we can print the result, but I will use a formatted function to display the value of x. Now, in case that this is a valid, this is a right condition, then the statement will be executed. Otherwise, we'll say else. This is the, in case that this condition is false. Now you can say that this condition is false. Now, which one is the biggest number? You can decide. You can write now the number. Okay, let's make it an if, so a formatted print statement, and here we will say the biggest number here is y. As you can see, here we are using the curly braces to just call the value of y, unify those, and let's run the code. Press on this button at the top, and we'll see. Here we go. X, let's say 7, y, assume 5. Here we go. This is the result, and this is the output. Now let's try the other scenario. You have to test your program in all cases, and here we'll say if it is the first one 7 and the second one 8, then 8 is the largest. Now we have one more condition that we didn't check yet, in case that both are the same. Okay, so you can add equal to one of the conditions or leave it as is if you want, and then we'll be good. Okay, so let's do this. So if you like this example, just hit the like button to let me know that you are good with this, you understood this concept of if statement and if else statement, so I can keep going and give you more examples. We'll keep working on the if statement and we'll improve this program that we started with. And with that example, we were comparing two variables, x and y. And now let's say that we have three variables instead. So we will do another variable, which is z, equals the same. The data type will be converted into integer. The input will be converted into integer. So input is the reserved word to accept input from the user. Enter the value of z, and here we go. Now we have three variables and we want to find the maximum number. So in this case, we cannot make a decision with just one question. We want to make sure that the number is bigger than the other two numbers. So we'll start with the same first step. If x is bigger than y, then still we cannot decide whether x is the biggest number or not. We need to ask again if x is bigger than z as well. If this is the case, then now we can say that, make sure to indent the statement, and now we can say that this is the biggest number, which is x. Okay, so now we have the first if statement, the outer, and we have the inner if statement, and this is called as a nested if statement. A question is inside the other, and we have two conditions to verify before we make our decision. Again, if x is bigger than z, then x is the maximum number. Otherwise, else we can say the biggest number now is what? Z, correct? So this is the thing. Let's make this in two lines. So this is the first scenario. Now, and if this is not the case, then we'll go with else if, and we'll ask if y is it bigger than z. Okay, we ask here x is bigger than y. If it is false, then we will go into this category. So now we can tell that y is bigger than x. Now we'll check, is it bigger than z as well? Then we can say that y is the number. Y is the maximum number so far. Correct? Otherwise, if not, then what's left? If not, if this is not the case, then we'll go with else. Okay, with else, and we'll say that the biggest number is z. Okay, so let's try and test this to see if we are right, correct or not. So let's say 1, 2, 3. We have these numbers. Now the answer should be 3, which is the biggest number. It's good, it's valid. Now let's test it again. All the time, make sure to test all the cases. Now let's make the first one is the biggest number, and so on. So here we go. We can still find the biggest number. Now let's try the one in the middle. Let's say the first one is 2, the second one is 3, and the third one is 1. Again, is giving you the biggest number. among these three numbers. So we tested all the three cases. If there are more cases in any coming scenarios or programs, you need to test all the cases. So this is why we need to test and verify. So this is an example of using a nested if statement. And here we go. We are validating the first condition. If this is correct, then we cannot decide yet. We have to validate if the first number is bigger than the third one as well, and then we can decide here. If not, then we can tell that the z is bigger, and then else if. This is another way of using an if statement with else if. You can do else and if statement separate lines, or you can do it in one command to make it more readable and easier. Okay, so, and here else, this is the else for the first statement. X is bigger than y. If this is false, then this is the results. So this is the case, and this is the other case. Otherwise, if none of those correct, then this is the else statement, which is the only option left. Okay, so this is the second example, and as I told you, please let me know if you have any questions here. Write in the comment section below, and let me know if you like this video. That just hit the like button and to keep continuing on this channel. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.